He's a savvy vet, that's been in a bunch of different systems in the NFL. A couple of those systems have similarities. When you look at, okay, Mike Pettine's system coming from Rex Ryan, and then obviously Greg's, past with Buddy Ryan and some of those similarities. And then, Ray's, past, with Dick LeBeau. And then, Greg and Dick LeBeau having worked together the things in our defense that are from that. So you see a lot of those things that are crossover where we talk a lot about same as, where, hey, Tank, this is the same exact thing you've done before. This is the same exact thing you've done before. Plus just a savvy vet who's been around, the league a long time, knows things about offense, knows things about defense, can kind of drive the ship out there and has done a good job at that. Those other, two vets that you see out there with him can do that as well too. So they've been communicating and checking the defense and running the defense and doing that, very well throughout the spring.
There's times Jamie Collins seems to make it look easy. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment, and he kind of always impresses his teammates, doing that. And he's, we always talk about, we look for guys as coaches, talent evaluators, all this stuff. We look for guys who can just do. What we mean by that, it's like, hey, we can be out here coaching, we can say how to do this, we can say how to do this, and then there's some people who can just do. And he could just do. You see that little competition we're having at the end of practice. I think we had like 15 straight guys, missed it. We're in overtime. He's ready to go. He's just like, just give me the ball. Bam, just drains a 30-yard throw at the net on first throw. But he just does stuff like that all the time. And so it's great to have guys like that around. And he's a great competitor as well, too. So you don't always get that all the times with a guy that's got great natural talent, but maybe he's lacking a little bit on the competitive side of things. I mean, he hates to lose. He's a competitive guy, and he's been a joy to coach this offseason so far.
What's he best at?
Again, he can do a lot of things. He can do a lot of things, and he believes he can do a lot of things. He believes he can go play DB. He believes he can go play DN. And the great ones that I've been blessed to coach, think that about themselves. But honestly, he can do a lot of things. And so it's kind of fun for us, but it's on us to kind of move him around to be able to let him do those things. To let him capitalize on that, and hopefully maybe keep offenses maybe off on where he's going to be. And you got to make a decision. Do I want to go at him? Or do I want to go away from him? But maybe going away from him isn't the best thing to do in this defensive alignment, and so he gives you the ability to do some of those things.
What kind of transition is Kirk seeing for going from what he was doing last year to what you were asking?
What he was doing last year is more similar to what we are asking him to do this year. Obviously, there's a schematic change, and so, but if you look at what he was being asked to do last year and where he was playing within that scheme, it's more similar to what he's doing, right now, at that will position. And so he's been great. He's got some instincts and some playmaking ability. I think we all saw that last year. Was a great a great special teams player early in his career as he developed into this. And at that will position, I always tell talent evaluator scouts, stuff like that, is that if you're a great fourth down player, you should be a great will linebacker. If you're a great fourth down player, you should be a good third down player, and you should be a good will linebacker, and you're seeing that with him already. But same thing with him is we're able to move those positions around, so you can't get a beat on it. They're kind of interchangeable, and you see him, getting a grasp of that and doing that.
Going back to Tank, I mean, he's been around a long time, but I don't think he started for any kind of stretch. Could you see going into week one with him being your guy in the middle?
I think so. I mean, his teammates are comfortable with him. His teammates have played with him a long time. We're comfortable with that. It's a competition. Nothing is by any means set. I mean, that's real talk. You see Joe Schobert doing a lot of good things out there as well too. Dominique Alexander, another young guy, doing a lot of good things out there. And so nothing's set in stone. And a big thing I think you see with all of Greg's defense throughout the years is that jersey that you wear on game day is too valuable when you're only dressing 46 guys. So if you're dressed, you are playing somewhere. You are starting in some package. One guy may be a 10-play guy. One guy may be a 50-play guy, but everybody that dresses is playing somewhere, some way, maybe just for one drive or maybe just in these two packages. But yeah, I think we can see that. He's just got to continue to improve and develop. But has done a really good job at doing it this spring. Without pads on.
What's made sense for Schobert to be that in the middle?
A lot of things. Joe. I don't know how much you guys know about Joe, but as a former, I'll say basketball player, former good basketball player in high school, came into college as a wide receiver, got moved to, outside linebacker. He's not really a 34 outside linebacker. You know, he can do that and do that well. He's got that athleticism, but body type, you know, he's more of a 4-3 off the ball linebacker. Mike, Will, Sam. I mean, I think he's got the, you know, ability to do all that type of stuff, but he's an extremely bright guy. And so the ability to process what everybody's doing and all of a sudden see something and turn around and tell a safety what they're supposed to be doing. Maybe they don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and you tell them that. Or you know, maybe the corner doesn't know what he's doing, and you tell him that. Or a D lineman, you're telling him what to do. You see him not do it, and you have to go down in there and like physically move him. You know, he possesses some of those, you know, coach-like, you know, qualities, you know, that's allowed him to step in there as the springs progressed and get a chance to do that.
I saw Jamie, you guys were running the red zone, I think, putting in the packages yesterday. And after they got off, Jamie was going over with Chris, and they were breaking it down if they lined up in this. And when we talk to Jamie, he doesn't tell us a whole lot. Is he smarter than he lets on, or you know what I mean?
I don't want to give out all. I don't want to give out all Jamie's secrets, but no, Jamie is a smart football player. He's been very well coached. We all know that. We all know where he came from. He's been very well coached in New England. You know, and so, you know, that's great for, you know, us coaches to be able to coach off of that coaching. He's already that skill set there, but he's a smart football player. He's a smart football player, and sometimes being a smart football player is having great instincts too, you know, but you see him, I mean, he knows, you know, a lot more, you know, people would think. You know, he sees, you know, plays coming before they come, you know, sees things get set up, and is getting a good give and take, you know, with all those linebackers in there, imparting some of that knowledge on them.
What have you seen from Dominique specifically?
You know, Dominique is, first of all, I can't wait to see Dominique in pads. I've told him this, is because, you know, just out here without pads on, I tell him he looks like a little bowling ball. You know, I mean, he just looks stout, and he just, also on top of that is, he's done a good job this off season of just being instinctual, playing plays. You know, you see him, you know, he either feels the play is, you know, what play is being ran, and he jumps it and beats the offense to the spot and makes this play, and, you know, we're supposed to be keeping people up, but he gets there so fast that the guy runs into him and just falls down, but you never see him falling down. That's what I mean by this. He's got this little bit of brick house, you know, sawed off bowling ball to him, and so I'm excited to see him, you know, get a chance to play in the preseason, put the pads on, and do it when, you know, it's real.
Extending Kirksey this offseason, obviously the organization views him as one of the cornerstones. What do you like so much about him?
I mean, there's a lot of things I like about him. I mean, I think you guys have talked with him. You see him. He's extremely personable. You know, he's one of those type of guys that just, you know, everybody likes. You know, everybody, you know, wants to, you know, play for, and he's about everybody else. He's not a guy that's about himself. You know, a lot of the guys were, you know, been giving him, you know, ribbon, you know, when he got it, you know, but because they're happy for him that he signed that. But he's kind of like, no, you know, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about you guys. So first of all, it's just that being a great teammate. You know, being a great teammate. But also, he's just a high effort, high want to. I mean, he wants to be great. You know, it's my job, it's our job as coaches to help him get there. It's his job to continue doing what he's done in his career, you know, to now prove that, you know, prove Mr. Haslam, prove, you know, Sashi and these guys right, you know, for giving him that, you know, contract and that trust, you know, but he desperately wants to win. He desperately wants to be great. And when you align that with being young and athletic and having some instincts and playmaking, you know, it's a fun package to get a chance to coach.
I know you've been around him for a long time, but Greg's a new experience for all of us. You know, it's seeing him out there and talking to him. We're going to talk to him later. I guess, what do we need to know about him? You know, this is our first year with him.
It's a new experience for me every day too, you know. I think that's one of the things that is fun about it, is you almost don't know. You know what to expect from him on what he expects. You know what to expect from him on what his standards are, on how we're going to do things, on how it's going to be done. But then at the same point in time, he's going to constantly keep you on your toes. Constantly keep you on your toes and present environments that make you fight or flight. Can, you know, present environments that teach you about yourself, so you can learn about it. Present environments so that you can problem solve and figure things out and grow and whatnot. And so, you know, that's what I think you guys have already seen and will continue to see, is he's going to keep everybody, you know, on their toes, but at the same point in time, he's going to be the same person every single day, you know, which I think everybody, you know, respects, you know, because you know what it's going to be every single day, you know, when you're around him.
When you guys took over defense at, either whatever, 30 or 31st, what kind of jump do you guys think you can have in the first year?
You know, honestly, when it comes to stats and all that stuff, I mean, we don't get into that. The only stat that we're worried about is the win-loss column. You know, so therefore, from a defensive standpoint, the number one stat we're worried about is the points allowed. You know, column. They don't score, they can't win. So I think a big part of the improvements that you've seen before in different places he's gone is attitude, expectations, and then within that, letting guys define who they are, who deserves to play, who can be accountable, who doesn't. All right, now that's defined. What can you best do? What can you best understand? What is your best talent and strength? All right, and now that's what we're going to call, and that's what we're going to do and tailor to you. You've earned it with that interview. You've interviewed daily with your coaches. You've interviewed daily with your players, and now you're the ones that are going to go out there and we're going to roll with, and this is what you guys can do best. Here we go. And so that's what you see. And so with you see improvements, therefore, when you do that. And it's not always the same time, though, the same human beings out there doing it. You know, it's the guys, you know, that prove they belong, you know, but, you know, it's an everyday thing. You know, it's an everyday thing. It's a process. We talk a lot in the linebacker room about in this league, you know, it's a race to get better. You know, but that's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a race to get better. How many teams you see every year that start 4-0 and end the season 7-9? 8-8. Everybody's crowning them Super Bowl champ. They go 4-0 in the preseason and then win 2 games all year long, you know. And so we want to start fast, but we want to just incrementally continue to get better, especially with a young team, you know, as we learn to win.
Do the guys ever come to you complaining about Craig?
No, you know, no, because one thing I told them day one, I said, you know, where some of them didn't know or, you know, yet that he was my father, and I said, I'm going to get the cat out of the bag right now. I said, we did a little vocab lesson. I said, I have zero sympathy for you. I said, I have empathy for you, but I have zero sympathy for you. And I can tell you right now, all right, after 32 years, he is not changing. You will not wait him out. This is how it's going to be tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, you know, but they get it and they understand it too. You know, it's a family that we're trying to grow here, you know, so they get a chance to be, you know, surrogate sons and get a chance to know what that upbringing was like. So I think back to me, it's a little bit more empathy, you know, than complaining or anything. But no, we all know we're on the same mission. We all know right now that we're doing what we got to do to get this thing right, you know, and everybody's, you know, on board with that.
He says that on Father's Day, he has, you know, 200 people texting him, sending him cards and things like that. So he must be doing something right?
No doubt. No, it is. It is. And I told the guys, I've been there too. I said, I've been there too. I think like every teenager, you've had daddy issues. You go through this thing. You're like, you don't like the tough love, but at some point in time, whether, you know, it's players that have played for him or whether, you know, it's me, my siblings and whatnot growing up, is you understand the tough love and you understand that he's only doing it because he cares deeply about you and because he believes in you. He's only doing that because he believes in you, and he's trying to, and he thinks you want to be the best, and he's trying to help you be the best you can be, and that's his passion, you know, in life. And so you start to understand those lessons, and you know, and you're thankful for them, and you're thankful for that tough love, and you fall in love with that, you know. And a lot of us players, coaches that have been together over this in a long time, you know, our family. We go on being family. These guys are getting indoctrinated into it right now, and hope a lot of us, you know, are like that, you know, for the rest of our lives, even after they retire and go on to their next jobs.